Hi, I'm Lynn. Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm cooking for the Cumberland Library again, and today I am making turkey meatballs over egg noodles. So in a creamy sauce, super yummy for this time of year. It is absolutely freezing outside, and this is a great comfort meal. I made something kind of similar way in the beginning when I started doing these videos during COVID. I made a turkey like stroganoff kind of thing where the ground turkey was just, browned with some onion and then put in with a sauce with egg noodles. But this is a little bit different. It's meatballs. Some people call them Swedish meatballs. Not sure why. And then, if you don't want the egg noodles, you can put them over something else or eat them alone. Maybe put them over rice. That would be good too. So anyway, let me get started telling you what you need, and then we'll get going. There'll be parts where I'll have to pause and we'll cook. Let's get cooking. Okay. Obviously, ground turkey. I've got 20.8 ounces. A big family, get more, whatever. You can also use ground beef and mix it with ground pork, that kind of thing. A lot of people make their meatballs that way. This is, turkey meatballs, so I'm using turkey. I like ground turkey. I use it a lot. If you look through the videos, you'll see I do use it a lot. I'm not sure if you can see all of me. I guess you can. Okay, so for the meatballs, the ground turkey, onion, egg, garlic, and the recipe will be there, or is there, because you'll be watching it, and the recipe will be there. You need panko breadcrumbs. Regular breadcrumbs will be fine, or you can use like crushed up crackers, like a butter cracker, Ritz crackers. And then I'm going to put in a little bit of nutmeg and some sage, and for a little bit of nice green color, I'm going to use some parsley. For the broth, or the gravy, I guess, you will need chicken broth. You can use beef broth if you want. What else? Flour to thicken it. Obviously egg noodles. I've got these guys here. And salt and pepper. And so you're going to use, after you cook the meatballs in the pan, you'll scrape up the lovely little bits on the bottom called fond and add the chicken broth and deglaze the pan. Why am I telling you? Let's do it. Okay. I think that's all you need, but the recipe will be there, and olive oil. That's the other thing. Okay, so let's get going on the meatballs. I'm sure I'm going to forget something. I always do. If you've watched my videos before, thank you very much. But you will notice I always forget something. I like to mix in all the things first and then put the turkey in and then mix it up. I don't know why I did that. I never do it that way. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, and I don't measure so much, but I'm going to give you the measurements. I do a lot of eyeballing, whatever. I know what I want to say. For the gravy, you could use heavy cream to kind of thicken it up and make it gravy-like, but I'm using sour cream. That's what I have. I don't want to buy cream, and this is a little bit lighter. So that's what I'm using. It gives it a little tang too. It's really good. All right, so I'm going to mix in. I'm going to start with my egg. Ground turkey tends to be a little bit drier. Especially I use the lower fat one. I use 93%, so it doesn't have a lot of fat, so you're not going to get a lot of like drippings from it. So sometimes I'll throw, and I'm going to, a little olive oil in there just to keep them moist. Okay, and I'm going to dice an onion, which I should have done already. It's easy when you're on camera, remembering everything. I'm just going to dice up this onion real quick. Just a small onion. And you want to dice it real small, so you don't have, big chunks of onion in there. You can if you want, but you can even like use a rasp or a grater, grate it in there. Hand on the top, slice it through the middle, and then make your cuts. Make them close together when you're doing a small dice, and then nice and small I'm not one of those that can go just chop, chop, chop. I can't do it. I'm gonna chop my finger off. And nobody wants to see that. Okay, we'll do the other one. I'm probably gonna use the whole onion because I got a lot of ground turkey there. I don't mind the onion. Leave it out if you don't want it. Use onion powder if you don't have an onion, or you don't want to use an onion. You can always do that. Same thing with the garlic powder instead of the garlic. You know, this is a lot of stuff you might already have in your fridge, your pantry. You throw some meatballs together, make some gravy and throw it over rice, noodles. It's super yummy and comforting, and we could certainly use a little warmth because it's been really cold and it's not fun. It's a little too much. Single digits, no thank you. I would settle right now for 30 degrees would be nice. That would feel like a heat wave. My eyes are stinging. I'm going to do 2, I think. 2 cloves, 2 good sized cloves. I hate the skin. I know it's necessary, but I hate it. Get out of here. Alright, so I got 2. Just, you know, not huge. Smash it. Smash it. And when you smash it, that's what I like doing it that way because it kind of gets the skin to kind of come off. And I get rid of that little nub at the end there, whatever that's called. This one didn't smash so good. My cat is over there anxiously waiting for his food, and he's gonna hover until I feed him. But I'm gonna feed me first. I'll feed him when I pause, because the poor thing, I'm gonna starve. All right, I'm gonna mince this real small. So I'm just going to, ooh, just keep running over it. Can you see what I'm doing here? Yeah. It's tough. I'm the cameraman. I'm the cook. I'm the editor. I'm sure there are easier ways to do it, but this is how I'm doing it. It's my kitchen. I'm doing the best I can. Just keep running over it until it's as small as you want it. I could use the rasp or whatever. Some people have, you know, garlic presses. I like doing this. I don't know why, I just do. So there's that. That's small enough. Because again, nobody wants to bite into a big piece of garlic. And that is so sticky. Get rid of that. Okay. What else? Alright, I'm going to get that in here. That's kind of a lot of onion. Let me not put that all in. I'll put all my garlic. Just go like that. Okay. And then some salt. Some pepper. And some panko. About half a cup. So again, turkey, particularly if you've got low fat, this is 93, you don't want to dry them out too much, so go easy on the panko. I'm going to do about 1/3 of a cup, and half of it's going to go elsewhere. I'm going to do a tiny bit of nutmeg, literally a pinch, and sage goes good with turkey, so I'm going to put some sage, probably a, I don't know, teaspoon-ish. I got a lot of turkey there, so it can stand up to it. I did salt, I did pepper, panko, oh, parsley, a little color. I like that green in there. Now, I would normally like to use fresh, but I didn't get any, and I usually grow it, but it ain't growing in 0-degree weather. Get rid of that. Just gonna zhuzh that with my hand. You see a lot of cooks on TV mixing their meatloaf with your hands. I do too. So I check it, like, does it look green enough? Is there enough onion? Yes, yes, yes. Now we'll get that in there. And we're just gonna, you don't wanna mix it too much because you will make the meatballs tough. So you just wanna get it so that, just kinda fold it over, get all that stuff inside the meat. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, probably not. Let's do this over here. The other way. Just folding. Folding, lifting and folding. Lifting and folding. And then kind of poke at it, make sure that there's no like spaces in the middle where there's like no seasoning at all. Because that would be sad. So there we go. I think we're good. Sometimes, you know, you lift up and there's a whole bunch at the bottom, so you want to make sure you get that and incorporate that. Because you don't want one meatball to have a big mouthful of onion and then some meatballs have none. So I'm going to cook the meatballs in the pan. A lot of times I will bake my meatballs, and that takes maybe about 20 minutes on like 375. It's a little easier, but doing stovetop today. So I'm going to make my meatballs. I'm not going to bore you watching me make them all. I'm going to show you about how big I'm making them. I'll do a couple and then we'll pause. And then I'll come back when we're ready to fry them up like that. Golf bowl, you can make them smaller, does not matter. Just obviously they're going to cook faster if they're smaller. No big deal. If you got little kids, you might want to make them a little smaller. Maybe have your kids help you make the meatballs. I don't know. I don't got any little kids here. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm putting them on here. Why do you always get an itchy face when you can't scratch it? Too big. I'm putting them here because I want them, I don't want to put one in and then that one will be done. It's the whole thing. It's timing. It's all about timing. So they're getting bigger. I got to watch what I'm doing. Not that it matters all that much. But I don't know, for some reason it looks dark. Okay, so you get the gist. Meatballs. Roll them. Any size you like. That's too big. I have a tendency to do that and they keep getting bigger and bigger. But we're good. I'm going to pause. Be right back. Okay, meatballs are ready to go in. One thing about ground turkey is it doesn't hold together as well, so frying them can get a little dicey because when you're turning them they can break apart. So I'll show you. I used to use tongs and they were falling apart. I'm squeezing them. It was a mess. And you can't really use a spatula because you turn them one at a time. It's a whole thing. Anyway, getting back to they fall apart. One thing you can do is put them in the refrigerator for a little while so they kind of firm up a little bit. I don't have time for that. I'm not doing that. Or wash your hands 100 times when you handle raw meat. So I'm going to do the best I can with that, and hopefully they don't fall apart. You'll probably notice if you've ever like made a turkey burger on the grill, you flip it and it falls apart. So that's kind of how you can do it, is to keep it cold or put it in the fridge. But we're going to muddle through. You can use regular oil or avocado oil or whatever. I'm using olive oil, and just get a good coating on the bottom there, and get that going. This is not the best burner to use. I like this burner over here that you can't see is the quick boil burner. I don't know, I wish they could be all the same. But anyway, on this burner over here I have the water for the noodles going, because this isn't going to take all that long. This is probably the most time consuming part of the whole thing, because rolling the meatballs takes a little bit, and frying them. But the noodles are going to get going. It's going to take a little bit for the water to boil. Then we'll get the gravy going and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Okay. Okay, so let's get them in. We're going to probably going to have to do batches, so I'm going to be pulling them out, putting them on this plate, and then they're going to go back in the gravy after. And I really should have waited till that was hotter, because you don't want it to sit in the oil. So we're gonna wait a minute and we see it start to sizzle. We'll put the rest in, because I'm too busy talking. So focus on what you're doing. All right. I'm not gonna be able to fit them all in that all at once, so I'm gonna do them in batches. Again, oven is easier, but the good thing about frying them is they get that like a crunchy brown and colorless flavor. So, and then you get to scrape that up off the bottom, and it adds to the flavor of the gravy. It's a whole thing. It's all good. Did I tell you what you need? You need butter, you need flour, salt and pepper, broth, noodles going in there. And I'm using sour cream instead of heavy cream. I can hear them start to sizzle, so we're just about ready to get the rest into the pool and get going. Probably gonna have to pause again, because do you really want to watch these things fry? All of these. It made 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We're going to be eating meatballs for a while. I hope my husband is in the mood for meatballs, because it's just the two of us. But I can eat turkey, ground turkey, anytime. I love it. I use it a lot. Better for you, and I really like it. It's a good thing, because I buy it a lot. I always have 5 or 6 pounds of it in my freezer. I can always seem to throw something together with ground turkey. So let's get these guys in. Don't crowd the pan. It will lower the temperature of the oil, and then again they'll be sitting in oil, so you want to keep the oil hot. See if we can do half. Do I have half in there? 3, 6, yeah. Do half and half. So I'm just going to show you until they get that little brown color. I'll flip them. I'll show you how I flip them, and then I'll pause again and I'll finish them up, and we'll do the sauce. Wash my hands again. Food safety, especially, well, any raw meat, but turkey, chicken, I'm washing my hands all the time. Gotta watch out for, cross-contaminating. If I touch that, and then I touch that, and I touch that, I don't know. Just be safe. Good to be safe. So my oven, for some reason, Can I do this without, there we go. The oil is pooling on this end, and I'm like, why? So there we go. We're good now. I think I moved it to put this down, and hopefully this won't fall. Now we've got everybody in the oil. You don't want to move them. Don't push them around, because you want them to sear. You want them to get that nice brown color. You can kind of see them, and they'll move. They'll lift when they're ready to be turned. They know. Sometimes they don't know. You have to scrape them up. You certainly don't want them to burn. I'm going to coax this one a little. Here we go. And I'm going to, ooh, look at that. I don't know if you can see that. It's brown, it's beautiful. And when I use the spoon, I just gently flip it over. I'm going to give it a little nudge. You're not cooperating. And see, that can happen. Now that one wasn't ready to flip, and so I lost the brown. That one's ready. Stop flipping them. They don't take long, but you've got, they're good size. They're going to take a few minutes to cook through. Give that one a nudge. Nope. That one's not ready. Guy's ready. Usually if they're ready to turn, if they've got that nice brown color on them, they'll lift and they'll flip. So try not to coax them, poke at them. They're gonna rip. It'll still be delicious. Just be a little bit less meatball-y. And another reason why you don't want to put them all in is then if you've got all of them in there, then you can't maneuver, and that's why you can't use a spatula, because you're only turning one at a time. That's why I probably should be using a bigger spoon maybe. There we go. This guy's ready to turn. And you're going to turn him a few times. You want as much browning on as many sides as possible. That one didn't want to go. It's not a perfect system. This guy's ready. They'll let you know. Usually they'll let you know. If you're struggling with them, it's usually because they're not quite ready. Alright, so I'm going to keep this up. I don't know if you can see I'll show you after. I'll show you when they're all nice and brown. But they are browning up nice. I'm going to turn the heat down a little so they don't burn. And then I will be right back. Okay, we're on to the gravy portion. Make sure I'm filming. The meatballs are all out. They're nice and brown. They all survived. A couple of them got a little beaten up when I turned them, but it's all good. So I've got a 1/4 cup of butter in the pan melting, and as soon as it gets all nice and melty, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup. I'm sorry, yeah, 1/4 cup and a 1/4 cup. And I'm going to need about 2 to 2.5 cups of broth. And we're going to whisk that until it gets nice and thick. We're going to put the meatballs back in. So that's a note. Don't worry if they're not going to be cooked all the way through. You're just browning them in the pan initially. So you're going to put them back in the gravy, and then they'll finish cooking, and then we'll put them over the noodles, which I cooked for about 8 minutes, and they are over here resting, waiting, as I am. So this got really hot, so I turned it off. I didn't need much heat to melt the butter. But I'm going to whisk in. I'm using, it already has butter on it. I'm using a plastic because I don't want to scrape up my pan. I'm just going to get that in there. Whisk that around. When I get the broth in, it's gonna pull up a lot of that stuff off the bottom, and that just adds to the flavor. So now I'm going to pour in my chicken stock. We don't want to let that burn. So that's 1 cup. And you do the flour and the butter initially and cook it for a little bit to cook out the flour flavor. So I need another cup. And I'm going to do a half. Depending on how thick you want your gravy. Now this had a lot of bits on the bottom, so that the bits are coming up. It doesn't matter. It's not as visually appealing, I guess you could say. But I'm going to get some of that off the bottom. I'm assuming you can see what I'm doing. My computer wants to keep sending me notifications, which is driving me crazy. Just keep whisking it. I'm going to turn the heat up a little and get that going until it's nice and thick. If you need more gravy, and you know, honestly, sometimes a lot of times I use cream of chicken soup, and it's just as good. Maybe not just as good, but it's pretty good. Especially if you're in a hurry and you don't feel like doing this and making your own gravy. You want to get it up to a boil, so cook that flour out, and then we'll put the noodles back in, the meatballs back in, and it'll take probably 5 minutes or so, if this is thickening up nice, to cook them all the way through, and then we're going to eat. I'm starving, and poor kitty is still hungry over there, thinking like, what is going on? She's cooking, she's not feeding me. This is not right. You kind of want to whisk it pretty continuously. You don't want clumps of flour, starting to boil. And rinse my hands again. Okay. I think we're going to be just about there. Getting nice and thick. Nice color to it. I'll let it boil another minute. Actually, you know what? We can put this in. I'm going to turn it down a little. Get these guys in for another swim. And then we're just going to wait a few minutes. And we are going to eat. And I'm hungry, as is Kitty. Get this guy down in there. Get in the pool, everybody. And I never assume anything is cooked when it comes to meat. I always cut it open, check it out, because you certainly don't want to be eating raw meat. So, just zhuzh them around a little. Nice and thick. Hoping you can see. Yeah, this is only going to take 5 minutes. They look yummy. Uh-oh, that guy fell apart a little. It's so delicate. I forgot my sour cream. See, yeah, it's a tradition now. I forget something every single time, but you know what? It didn't need it. So you don't have to put it in if you don't want to. You don't have to put cream. It's a lesson learned. That just makes it creamier. I don't know. Unnecessary, obviously. The broth thickened up nicely. You know, I am who I am. I'm talking and I'm cooking and I'm forgetting. And I swear it happens every time. It's going to be delish. Nobody's going to know. I won't tell my husband. You won't tell my husband. He would never know anyway. And we're getting there. All right, I am going to let this finish up, boiling away beautifully, and then I'm going to be right back. Alrighty, it is time to eat. I'm starving. I got my noodles. I'm going to plate it. I'm going to eat it, probably burn my mouth, and that'll be it. All right, so I'm going to throw some, use my hands, throw some noodles on here. Still a little warm, but they'll get warmed by the sauce. And I want to get myself, I don't know, 3 probably. A couple of them are cut open because I checked for doneness. And just put some of the sauce over the top. Now I could pull them out and fix my mistake and put the sour cream in there, but who has time for that? If I was serving this to people, I would. Now, I'll taste the noodles first. Put a little olive oil on them so they wouldn't stick together. That gravy is really good. The noodles, the meatballs took a little bit. I covered it up and they seemed to cook a little faster. I think I was just getting impatient. Alright, let's see. Delicious. The gravy's delicious. The noodles don't want me to pick them up. So warm and comforting. Perfect for, what is it? It's 28. It's actually a little bit warmer. Still cold. So, I'm going to go enjoy this. And I'm going to see you again in February. I'm also making something nice and warm and comforting that I love to make, chicken stew. And then maybe we'll do a dessert in March. If you have any suggestions or something you'd like to see, just email reference@cumberlandlibrary.org or any other suggestions, or you can leave comments here with the video. But I hope you try this. There's many different ways you can do it. Like I said, beef, pork, turkey, bake them in the oven, put some stuff in the heavy cream or sour cream that would have lightened up the, but it's not heavy, it's not a heavy gravy, it's delicious. Either way. Okay, I will see you again soon. Come check us out at the library. We're doing lots of great things, always, and I will see you next month.